The Big Short with Michael Burry? Do you guys remember the scene where he goes and he's like buying all these CDOs, and then he's like, they just they thought they finessed the shit out of him, right? And he was like, "Can I get one of these mugs? I really like these mugs." And he just pledged like $200 million to buy 200 million of their securities. Okay, this is the scene. Big Short. Hold on, I'll show you. On Big Short. Uh, can I keep this mug? Let me see if they can find it. They have to have this somewhere on YouTube. We're definitely getting flagged for playing this. Maybe it's the dude. What the fuck is happening right now? Can I keep this mug? Let me see if they can find it. They have to have this somewhere on YouTube. We're definitely getting flagged for playing this. Maybe it's the JP Morgan scene. Maybe it's the oh no, not JP Morgan. Wait, where is
Dude,
this second?
what the fuck is happening right now?
Okay, let's see if the audio's good because I'm having this background noise and I just don't know where it's coming from. Okay, we should be good. Hold on, let me see if I can find the exact scene. I don't know why I'm looking at this. This is the dumbest shit ever. It's when he goes to walk out. But this was me when I quit my job at Merrill. This was literally me.
100 million?
I just swear to say what your mama gave.
You can, but
You good in them jeans. I bet you keep incredible.
Line and credit.
Collect somebody.
we can make it 100 million.
Take your money and collect somebody.
Be in touch. Paperwork over.
Get the fuck out of it if you want to come get it. Next.
It's like these cups. Could I take one for my son?
Yes. I have two.
That was me, bro. That was me. Yes, I did just spend 5 minutes looking up that scene to give you a visual representation of what it looked like when I left my job at Merrill Lynch, and I took this cup. I said, I like these cups. Can I take one of these cups? And they're like, well, take two. That's exactly what it looked like, word for word, bar for bar. Okay, I haven't checked any of the news, and we're about to. I did see a few words when I looked up Truth Social, and I think I'm about to lose my fucking mind because Donald Trump is a fraud, and we have been played, and he's about to get fraud checked by me. We've been doing it this whole time. You guys looked up the big, beautiful scam article that we put out. This why the Iran strike is fucking stupid article that we just went over on yesterday's stream. I mean, Saturday's stream. But I just saw Donald Trump is calling out Congressman Thomas Massey, the last great congressman, the last good politician, and good being like a relative thing. There's no good politicians because they all have to do shady shit. But he's about the best. He's the least dirty shirt in the fucking in the pile, in the clothing fucking pile. Okay? Congressman Thomas Massey is an American treasure. He's not bought and paid for by the sketchiest fucking multinational corporations and does their bidding. He constantly votes to reduce the budget, and he's the only actual fiscal conservative, excuse me, in the entire Congress. Everybody else is voting on spending $2 trillion. So Donald Trump is sitting here saying Congress, I'm going to read this word for word. This is about to piss me the fuck off. So you guys better buckle up here. All right. He said Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA. Yeah, no shit. MAGA should stand for no, I'll have to find something funny. Even though he likes to say he is, actually MAGA doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. Fuck Donald Trump. How about that? This is where I'm at now. We've gone full from, let's give this guy a chance. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he actually is a savant and we're actually just watching Rain Man in action. He's not Rain Man. He's Simple Jack. He's Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder. He's not Rain Man. We fucked up. He's not Forrest Gump. He is Simple Jack. Simple Jack, right? Never go full retard. He says he is a negative force who almost always votes no because we don't need to add $2 trillion to the national debt that we're already way overspent on. The whole point of reducing bringing in Doge and having all these cuts and then doing this entire budget resolution and then trying to reduce the fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. And then these guys are trying to pass a $2 trillion spending bill, just like Biden did. The reason we had 9% inflation, this whole concept of Bidenomics means that we were already dealing with an inflation crisis where prices were high and there was asset bubbles forming in the crypto market, in the stock market, in the bond market, and things were already overheating. And then they went and threw this $2 trillion omnibus bill, just shoved it right up and right into America. And then all of a sudden, we get 9% inflation. They have to raise rates for the first time in 15 years. None of us can get a house. None of us can get a fucking car. Getting a commercial loan or getting a business loan is almost impossible unless you want to pay, 7% plus premiums to get a loan. So like the entire concept of Bidenomics is shit was already too hot and they pumped $2 trillion right into this thing. And so what they're trying to do now, right? After Trump has been roasting Bidenomics and he roasted Bush's war policies and he roasted the fact that Bush and Obama never went to Congress to get, approval for wars. And they roasted the military industrial complex and he roasted Jeb Bush by being bought and paid for by foreign governments and bought and paid for by the military industrial complex. Trump has thrown all that away and has literally become a war hawk, money spending, add to the budget and the debt president. That's his fucking legacy. All right. No matter how good they may be, he's a simple-minded grandstander who thinks it's good politics for Iran to have the highest level nuclear weapon, which they don't, while at the same time yelling death to America at every chance they get. Yeah, Lindsey Graham yells death to Iran every chance he gets. Should they just come and bomb us? Is that acceptable because we have retards like Lindsey Graham? Nikki Haley was signing bombs that were supposed to get sent over to kill children. Signing bombs with a smile on her face. Does that give fucking Mexico and Chile the right to bomb the fuck out of us because we have retards in our government? You guys tell me. All right. Well, at the same time, okay, what do you say? Trump goes on to say Iran has killed and maimed thousands of Americans and even took over the American embassy in Tehran under the Carter administration. Benghazi, Iraq, 1 million people died. Tens of thousands of children died in Gaza. So does that mean that fucking Venezuela gets to bomb America now because we did that? Okay, what the fuck is this wrong? Yo, son. Bro, fuck Donald Trump, man. YG, you know what? YG, I used to clown YG because that song was stupid and it was childish, and Trump was supposed to be here ending these wars and doing all these things, and we have been completely lied to. We've been, you know what? I'm never going to admit YG is right. That's even worse than what's happening right in front of us. Yes, roasting the last great congressman of our time is horrible, but that YG is just as bad. He knows, the embarrassment. We have a spectacular military success yesterday, taking the bomb right out of their hands. But as usual, and despite all the praise and accolades received, this lightweight congressman is against what was so brilliantly achieved last night. Massie is weak, ineffective, and votes no on virtually everything. That's actually kind of true. Everything put before him, Rand Paul Jr. Him and Rand Paul are the only people voting not to raise the government budget or not to raise the government debt. Guys, I'm sorry I'm getting pissed. All right, fuck this. I don't think anybody cares as much about this as I do. I'm not reading the rest of this. Fuck Trump for this. And then he says, get this bum out of office ASAP. I don't like that at all. Let me give you guys two funny. I saw this yesterday, and I should have put this in the clip that I put up on Saturday when we were going through the what is it called? The first strike. Look at this. Mike Benz. Dude, we've been psyoped like a motherfucker. You guys know the movie Top Gun? Look at this. Okay, Mike Benz, Top Gun, Iran reference. What Trump just did, the exact operation, is the exact fucking plot of the movie Top Gun. They psyoped us so that they could let this operation happen. Oh, you can let the DMs in there. Fucking. All right, let's look at this. This was fucking hilarious. I'm gonna try to play, I think, a minute of this. A minute should be all it takes. Here it is. Right under this.
Just happened. Pressure. We've been is
Okay, yo, this is gonna blow your
Right
fucking
now
mind.
is-
Everybody needs to watch this. Everybody needs to pay attention to this. We are being psyoped. It's a psychological operation for, Hollywood and the media and the news media is basically just meant to like lube you up for the next stupid fucking idea or corrupt idea the politicians come up with. And so if it's like taking away all our rights and spying on us, they have to like lube you up first. They'll make a movie where it's like, yeah, the robots are going to take over unless you give me all your personal data. And then you're just like, you grow up like 5, 7 years later, some shit happens and Palantir wants all of our personal data. And then we're all just like primed and lubed up for it. Top Gun lubed us up for this operation. Look at this.
what is happening right now is unbelievable.
By the way, if you don't know who Mike Benz is, he used to work for the Department of State, one of the most brilliant humans on the internet today. If you guys really want a deep dive on NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, and the entire fraud machine, the apparatus of how the CIA launders money through the NGOs to do all these regime changes and like all of like the assassinations and how they're actually paying for assassinations and like all this type shit through the NGO, atmosphere or through the NGO sphere, go and listen to Mike Benz. He's got a great podcast with Joe Rogan. He's got a great podcast with Tucker Carlson. They've just come out the last like month or so. He's an absolutely brilliant guy. But
Unbelievably identical to the plot of Top Gun Maverick, the Oscar-nominated Best Picture of the Year in 2022. This has been an obsession of mine all week. I've been meaning to make this video all week, and I just saw Fox News reference it last night. So let me give you the proper treatment. We're going to go through this scene by scene. We're going to do a movie watch chronologically through the movie. And as you watch these scenes, remember that the whole plot is to use bunker buster bombs using stealth bombers through the mountainous region of a Middle East country in order to blow up its nuclear plant. Here's what the final scene looks like at the climax of the film, for example.
Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye.
Now, something troubled me when this movie first.
now keep in mind that the Fordo nuclear facility that they were enriching the uranium at 60%, the one in Iran, was under a mountain or inside a mountain. And so only the B-2 stealth bombers, these bunker busting bombs that they had that were delivered by these stealth bombers, could actually penetrate. And that's the entire plot of the fucking Top Gun movie. It's the nuclear site that they're trying to attack is inside of a mountain, and they need this like special team of fucking pilots to be able to go do the mission, right? And it's not to protect American interests in the Top Gun movie, it's to protect our allies in the region. Dude, Israeli psyops.
Came out, and I'm just
I
going
said
to
it.
play this scene.
YouTube.
It's at the 19-minute mark of the movie where they're setting out the whole plot of why they're doing this operation.
The target is an unsanctioned uranium enrichment plant built in violation of a multilateral NATO treaty. The uranium produced there represents a direct threat to our allies in the region.
Now, when I first watched this on an airplane in 2022 as just something to do to kill time, I thought that was a very strange plot choice because this whole operation to use bunker buster bombs and risk American lives to blow up a nuclear plant in the Middle East was because the nuclear plant represented a direct threat to our allies. Like the military generals did not even say it was a threat to the United States.
Bingo.
The operation was because the plant was a threat to our allies.
The uranium produced there represents a direct threat to our allies in the region.
So again, the plot of the movie is because the nuclear plant in the mountains of an undisclosed Middle East country represents a direct threat to our allies in the region. It was.
I'm gonna run that back. This is all I'm gonna play from the video because you guys, the rest of the 20 fucking minute, we've only watched a minute and a half. The rest of the 20 minutes, he explains this thing scene by fucking scene. This is Mike Benz, by the way. He's like also retarded, and so he'll literally go through like every NGO document, like word for word. This guy's a fucking gem. But dude, this phrase right here explains the entire plot of the movie and how we were psyoped into accepting and being lubed up to being ready for this operation against Iran for no fucking
was
reason.
a threat to the United States because the plant represented a direct threat on an airplane. And a very strange plot choice.
Here it is.
Because this whole operation to use bunker buster bombs and risk American lives to blow up a nuclear plant in the Middle East was because the nuclear plant represented a direct threat to our allies. Like the military generals did not even say it was a threat to the United States. The operation was because the plant was a threat to our allies.
The uranium produced there represents a direct threat to our allies in the region.
So again, the plot of the movie is because the nuclear plant in the mountains of an undisclosed Middle East country represents a direct threat to our allies in the region. They don't say it's to the United States. I thought that was very, very strange to come at the 19-minute mark of a 2-hour movie as they're setting up the whole plot.
The uranium produced there represents a direct threat to our allies in the region. The Pentagon has tasked us with assembling a strike team and taking it out before it becomes fully operational.
So again, the plot is the Pentagon has been tasked to set up a strike force to launch a preemptive strike against this facility to take it out before it becomes fully operational. So this is without a war being declared. This is presumably.
Are you guys listen, guys? Okay, just put a 1 in the chat. We can fucking put this thing to bed. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are tracking what he just said. This the entire plot of the movie, word for word, bar for bar. Bro, we are being fucking psyoped. Like word for word, it's not even fully operational. They want to get it before it's a preemptive strike. The shit's inside of a mountain. It's not for our safety. It's for the safety of our allies in the region. This is an Israeli psyop. Fuck, dude. He goes on to say,
that is where the Ford Row.
He keeps going. Like this shit gets even crazier. You know what? I'll play a little bit more of this. This is really entertaining. I'll play a bit more of this. Fuck Donald Trump, okay, for insinuating that he wasn't fucking psyoped and he wasn't just fucking lulled into this goddamn conflict. And then now he's shitting on MAGA. He's shitting on Tucker Carlson. We have people like Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Dave Smith, basically every every conservative MAGA, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everyone is against this shit. Everybody's against this fucking retarded spending bill. Steve Bannon, the architect of the entire Trump campaign, the Trump, brand, for fuck's sake, he's against this war. And somehow he's coming at Thomas Massie for not wanting to add another $2 trillion to the national debt and for opposing this preemptive, unnecessary war of choice strike that's going to lead to another fucking 20-year conflict in the Middle East. Thomas Massie is the last great fucking congressman that we have. Fuck Donald Trump. That's what I think.
To take it out before it becomes fully operational.
The plant sits in an underground bunker at the end of this valley. Said valley is GPS jammed and defended by an extensive surface-to-air missile array, serving a limited number of fifth-generation fighters, which in turn are backed up by a plentiful reserve of surplus aircraft.
That is where the Fordrow nuclear enrichment site is, in the mountainous region just north of Iran's capital. Here is a Google Earth view of the Fordrow nuclear.
They could have even got the fucking, they even got the geographical shit in the movie, man, to even tell you exactly what we're about to do.
enrichment facility.
Americans think blowing shit up is cool. That's why Top Gun is a thing. Wear the aviator shades. Get the jumpsuit. They call you in. You're an elite task group. Fuck, dude. Only us can do it. We're the Patriots. PSYOP.
Iran's secretive nuclear.
Now, whoever asked about oil, by the way, great question. It looks like we've kind of hit a high here in the oil prices, and it looks like US oil is starting to come down. I'll look at WTI crude here in just a second. But we went from $77 a barrel. And let's actually take a look here of where we were when Trump took office. So when Trump took office, the price per barrel was sitting at about 80. And then somewhere up until Liberation Day, which was the tariff day, we had dropped all the way to $54 a gallon. Damn. All right, Trump, from 80 down to 50. Couple of fucking threat the Middle East and prices drop. And then after Liberation Day, prices started to come up. And then I think that these attacks really started to happen in May. And that's where June, yeah, June 1st, right around the attacks, the price of oil boomed. Now, let me tell you guys something. I'm going to put this in terms that every American can understand, or everybody can understand if you guys price your oil in dollars. If Iran starts to attack oil facilities in the Middle East, in the greater Arabian Gulf, some of the oil deposits in Iraq, then, or they cause a blockade of the Persian Gulf and sort of like the oil that travels through the Persian Gulf, the price per gallon could go as high as $15. If they even insinuate this, if there's even like a small hit on these facilities or there is a blockage of oil transporting through, the price per oil will go to $10 a gallon. And everybody will be calling for war. Okay? Americans will not mind going to blow up a country that we don't recognize if the price per gallon goes to $10. So that is the risk that we are facing here. Is containment means that this is another one of these Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, Russia conflicts where it's absolutely devastating, but it does not lead to World War III. Escalation means that Iran has to retaliate. Iran cannot accept these attacks and then not retaliate. If they do, then it's like getting bitch slapped and then accepting it over and over again. I would be more worried if Iran didn't retaliate. Like, I would be a lot more concerned if they didn't retaliate. You see this guy who is not a pussy, he's kind of a massive guy, and then somebody comes up and smacks him. Your smaller friend goes up and smacks him. That's Israel. Smacks him. And he does, and okay, so he smacks him back, or he kind of like holds him up or whatever, but doesn't really end the fight. Then you come over and out of nowhere, sneak hit him, sneak punch him. You're trying to talk to him, hey, you're trying to calm him down. That's the equivalent of the US having negotiations with Iran, trying to calm them down and trying to sort of be a voice of reason, and then out of nowhere, just sneak shotting him. That's the equivalent of what just happened. I would be more worried if the Iranian guy at the bar, who's massive, didn't do anything. Because it means he's going to follow you home. This is not over.
Those are my jokes. I'm not a joking person.
Bro, I am. Let me finish my joke then. Damn it.
Yo, my bad, Roy.
Bro, I'm in the middle of a fucking monologue right now, Trap. I'm in the middle of my scene, Trap. You don't have to check the script. This is my speaking lines. It's like, no. Okay, small guy at the bar. Okay, boom. The big Iranian dude gets smacked up. Boom. You come over. America comes over. Oh, I'm the voice of reason, voice of reason. Boom. Sneak shots him. Iranian guy stands there. Does nothing. Dude, he's following you home. He's gonna cut your ankles or something, and then you can't walk, and now you're crawling in the movie like some sick shit. You guys ever seen Law Abiding Citizen? Buddy tied up the guy that shot his kid. He tied up the guy and like had him up on the fucking mirror, whatever. That's what I think the Iranian dude's gonna do. If he does not hit me back and he has the strength and the muscle for it, then my friends, that dude is he's gonna hit a Dexter. He's gonna fucking put the next thing you know, you're on the way home, you're just on the ground. That's what I think is going to happen. So if Iran does not retaliate, they got something under their sleeve. They're building tunnels somewhere, Trap. And it might be in America, sleeper cells in America, 9/11 2.0 in America. That's not a joke. I know I'm making light of this because that's what I do when I'm nervous, is I have to make a joke out of the fact that another 9/11 is going to happen. If Iran does not retaliate, now what does retaliation look like? We have 40,000 troops within hitting region, within hitting range of Iran missiles. So like they're gonna get pieced up. That would be the expected response. If there is no retaliation, dude, they're gonna pull a damn, I ran out of fucking torture references. You guys ever seen 007? The guy's got the rope and he's doing the thing. That's what I think Buddy's gonna do to me if he does not hit me back. He said I dropped the dad joke and nobody laughed. Damn, JLP, my bad, bro. I didn't hear the dad joke, man. Maybe they even used Tom Cruise as one of their pilots. Scientology. That's all I'm gonna say. Scientology. My dad says, remember to push the like button. What are you guys gonna do? Disrespect my father like this on the stream? And you guys gonna disrespect my own father? Y'all better drop a like. That's craziness. I dare y'all. One of y'all disrespect Pops right now. You know, I can see him on the communist video. Oh, I can see him on a communist video. It was good while it lasted, but it's time to go. James, who are you talking about, brother? Is it me? I'm all for the communists. It's like, no, I'm joking. All jokes, all jokes, all jokes. Hunter Biden's the best. I voted for Clinton. All right. Obama's chef did not kill himself. Or he did kill himself. Or he drowned. I don't know what the official story was. Obama's chef drowned. I don't know. Hunter Biden is the best. Take all the vaccines. Okay. Moving on.
Their site that only a U.S. bomb could hit. You will notice it's the same setup with these same valleys and slopes in a giant mountain range, which is snowy in winter, the same as you'll see.
I said all of that. I kind of made this entire 30-minute tangent to say that oil prices are going to come down. But if this problem escalates, we're going to see U.S. oil prices start to rise a bit. Now, let's actually look at WTI crude before we get back to the video. WTI, let me just do WTI. The fuck is Pyth? We have commodity CFDs. Should we do, let's do both. Let's do light crude oil. Looks like prices are rising, but they kind of seem to be stable as of right now. The big price pump started June 1st when this conflict first. So this is how markets react. Markets will just price it all in right away. They're, oh shit, World War III, price it all in. And then they're like, oh, no World War III. Iran's not really retaliating. And you get a kind of a move back down. Or, okay, some false hope. And then boom, Iran retaliates and we see the next leg up. Okay, I just filled up gas for like $3 a gallon. We'll see. If it goes below 3, things are getting better. If it goes above 3, Iran's got the upper hand. Let's go look at WTI crude from Pyth. Let's look at the futures instead of the commodity CFD. Commodity CFDs is like the Vegas betting odds on a fight or like a sports game, where it's like constantly life-changing odds. It's really just like imagine like in Thailand, I'm not even gonna snitch. Yes, I am gonna snitch. In Hawaii, they have these like fucking underground chicken fights, and you have these like fucking like these Pacific Islanders just like taking money and just fucking smoking cigs inside. That's the CFD market. If you trade like Forex CFDs or you used to trade US 30 or like NASDAQ CFDs, right, on a margin account, that's that. Polynesian fucking Pacific Islander is taking money from people in a bar with a cigarette in his mouth, and everyone's just betting on what's going to happen right then and there. Futures is more of like the largest capital allocators' future expectations of the current market. So like whenever we're trying to guess what the Fed's going to do next, we go to the CME website and we look at the Fed Watch, the Fed funds futures market, where there are futures contracts that are betting on whether or not the Fed is going to raise interest rates or lower interest rates. And so the Fed, like the futures markets, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've already been through this, but like there's 3 layers to every market. And then there's like 15 layers. But we'll just stick to 3 right now. There's like the real market. And so this is oil, like barrels of like human oil, like, real oil. This is real stuff, right? So this is called the asset. Okay, then you have securities. A security is anything that represents a secured interest in a real asset. And so, like, if you own the contracts to this oil, for example, then you own a secured interest in the delivery of this oil or in the ownership, like your name is on the list, on the list of ownership for this thing. So you can like the deed to a house is not technically considered a security, but you can think about it like a deed to a house, where the deed represents a secured interest in house. You can't take your house everywhere and go trade it. So you can take the deed and it represents a secured interest. And then you have derivatives. Derivatives are things that their value derives from the value of the underlying security. So oil is the barrel. That's the real stuff. So that there's a market that trades the oil, okay? And then there's securities. Securities is like the representative. It could be a CFD. Oh, no, it's not a CFD, excuse me. It could be like a contract. It could be a specific right to buy or right to own. That's a secured interest in this barrel of oil. Then you have derivatives, which are futures, options, and swaps, or not swaps, futures, options, yeah, and swaps. But futures and options, basically, it's like a futures contract is a promise to buy something within a future, like within a specific price at some point in the future, at some time in the future. And then options contracts is the option, the optionality, not the obligation, but the option to buy this contract at a specific price in the future. So they're all just like, here's the thing where if price hits this point, you have to sell it to me. These are kind of like derivative contracts where the entire value of the contract derives from the value of the underlying security. And then there's us. We're retards. We're over here. Well, actually, now I'm a futures trader, so I'm like kind of retarded. So not full. Tropic Thunder reference. Then we have CFDs. CFDs is the Polynesian guy with the cigarette in his mouth taking money from the bar, looking at the derivatives traders and the real traders and the oil traders and looking at Trump. We're all over here on the fucking sidelines outside the bullpen, and we're all just fucking trading money around. Like, what do you think they're going to do? How do you think this is going to go? Where do you guys think this is going to play out? And we're just doing like sideline bets on this shit. But it's not like if I bet you and I win, I get to take the oil. I don't have any claim to the underlying security or the underlying asset. So CFDs, very sketchy, but I love it. This is where I love to play. I don't ever want to take delivery of oil, gold, NASDAQ contracts. No, I want to take a bet. A CFD stands for a contract for difference. I'm entering a contract with my broker for the difference in price. So if the price is 60 and then it goes to 70, there's a contract that for every position or every lot size I have, you owe me money for the difference in price. It's a bet. It's a side bet. Your broker is the Polynesian guy with the fucking cigarette in his mouth. I just figured this out. The broker is the old Asian man with the cig. And you're not getting a refund. That's for damn sure. Okay. I don't know how we got on this tangent. Let's get back to the show. Oil futures, if this thing escalates, we're going to be paying $4 a gallon. That's all I meant to say.
In the final scene of the movie, let's go into it.
Yo, and if you guys are watching this on YouTube, send this out to somebody because like 30 people on this stream is borderline criminal. It's like Trump trying to basically fucking push $2 trillion into the government. It should be illegal. 30 people on the stream, bro. I saw 7,000 people the other day on like on this fight stream, and the guy was wrong on every fucking fight pick that he picked. 7,000. I'm right about just about everything I've said on these streams, no matter regardless of how hyperbolous it was.
Bordro is built deep within northern Iran's rugged, remote.
If I find a scalp trade right now that everybody can take and make money on, will that boost the stream? Because I'll do it. I see a continuation model right here. Okay, we're rejecting the 88. Here's the 61. Little secret that we'll teach in the next NAS 2.0 class. Go ahead and throw the 70% fib on there. Bing. Got support, turn resistance right here. Long position scalp. Stops have to be at below the 50. Okay, then we erase all of these fibs. Keep it casual. So option number one is a buy here at 695, which is about 30 points away. And then the next idea would be retest all the way up the bottom at 21,600. Full retest. And then continuation, that's a lot less likely. I think we're going to see this trade play out here. You're welcome. Let's see when this trade plays out if the stream numbers boom.
Mountains. Designed to withstand airstrikes, its underground location shields it from conventional bombs. So this site, with its 6 entrances, is because deep under the mountain is where the facilities are. Just like the nuclear uranium enrichment site in Top Gun has these entrances up top, built on a mountain range. And as you will.
Okay, we got this. I'm actually going to show you guys why I love Thomas Massey so much. Let's actually watch a Thomas Massey clip here and show you why Trump is the biggest fraud in the entire world, because Thomas Massey. Let's do Thomas Massey and Tucker. I think they have a pretty good track record here. 1 million views, and this guy's an irrelevant fucking politician. This guy's a boring libertarian, and he's got 1 million views on Tucker. Clearly, people agree with what he is saying. Dude, you just start to see Israeli flags and stuff the second you look up Massey. Massey's the one that basically broke the story on how every congressman in the entire, like every senator and every congressman has an AIPAC representative. Yeah, look, this is going to get me in trouble. I don't even know if I want to go down this route. I really don't want this to I want this to stay as objective as possible. Let's see if they talked about the budget. Let's see if we can do something here.
There's quite a long list of promises, assurances from the speaker. Nope. I know. If you don't buy it.
Bro, get some. This is Forbes breaking news, and they can't even afford to get an editor to take out the background noise. See, you can't even find shit. I looked up Thomas Massey, and now I'm getting a bunch of Putin and John Kerry. Like, dude, come on. Okay, GOP.
Guys, for 90 seconds.
Here we go.
Well, I'd love to stand here and tell the American people, we can cut your taxes and we can increase spending and everything's going to be just fine. But I can't do that because I'm here to deliver a dose of reality. This bill dramatically increases deficits in the near term, but promises our government will be fiscally responsible 5 years from now. Where have we heard that before? How do you bind a future Congress to these promises? This bill is a debt bomb ticking. Congress can do funny math, fantasy math, if it wants, but bond investors don't. And this week, they sent us a message. Moody's downgraded our credit rating, and the bond investors who buy our debt and finance our debt demanded higher interest rates on the 10-year note, the 20-year note, and the 30-year note. What does this mean? Very soon, the government will be paying $16,000 of interest alone per U.S. family. And what are we telling them? Instead of taking care of that problem, we're going to give you a $1,600 tax break. Under the taxing and spending levels in this bill, we're going to rack up, the authors say, $20 trillion of new debt over the next 10 years. I'm telling you, it's closer to $30 trillion of new debt in the next 10 years. Mr. Speaker, we're not rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic tonight. We're putting coal in the boiler and setting a course for the iceberg. If something is beautiful, you don't do it after midnight. I oppose this bill.
Gentlemen, time has expired.
If something is beautiful, you don't do it after midnight. All right. That's the man that Trump is calling a bum. That is the only thing stopping us from getting another $2 trillion in debt, being like, well, in 5 years, we're going to, I promise we're going to fix it. Well, I promise we're going to fix it. It's too fucking late. 22 hours ago, Thomas Massey
Well,
talking his
I
shit.
think there's a conundrum there with the speaker's assertion that there was an imminent threat. If there was an imminent threat, not call us back from our recess. We were on recess last week, and I went to special effort to offer a war powers resolution while everybody was on vacation. I was able to put it in the hopper during a pro forma session. But in reality, if Speaker John...
Yeah, I think the continuation trade is a dud. But I don't know. We'll see it play out. The buys at the bottom, sells at the top. Those are the only real sort of trades that I'm taking. This and this. Buys will probably happen first at this point. We'll see. Buys at the bottom of the range, sells at the top. Members, you guys know the drill. But let's see if the continuation model, let's see if we get a rejection here. It's possible.
America was on recess. Well, I think there's a conundrum there with the speaker's assertion that there was an imminent threat. If there was an imminent threat, not call us back from our recess. We were on recess last week, and I went to special effort to offer a war powers resolution while everybody was on vacation. I was able to put it in the hopper during a pro forma session. But in reality, if Speaker Johnson thought that America was in danger imminently, he should have brought us all back to Congress, yet he did not. I'm not a fan of this.
So basically what Thomas Massey is claiming is that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson did not believe that we were actually being attacked, because if he did, he wouldn't have just like let them all stay out for recess. He would have called the House back into session. That way they could deliberate whether they should go to war or not. But since he did not do that, he didn't actually think that America was in danger, and that's why they're all just like bullshitting us with this Iran thing, saying that we're in danger. That's why we had to attack. Because if we were in danger, they wouldn't have just like let everybody stay on vacation. They would have called the House back into session so that they can deliberate over the War Powers Act.
Speaker, but I will tell you this, I think he's the speaker as long as Trump wants him to be the speaker. If Trump gets tired of Speaker Johnson, he better clean out his desk, because that's how he's speaker. He's just hanging on by doing whatever Trump wants. And in this case, it's an abrogation of our responsibility to debate matters of war. That's what Trump wants, and that's what Mike Johnson gave him. That is wrong. And by the way, whether you agree with my war powers resolution that I've co-introduced with Ro Khanna, a Democrat. By the way, we're up to 50 co-sponsors now. Whether you agree with it or not, surely you agree, or your listeners agree, that the Constitution requires Congress to weigh in on this. There's some argument that, there was an imminent threat, so the president can act for 60 days without a vote of Congress. But here's the reality. After 60 days, he has to stop unless there is a vote. So at some point, Manu, I think we're going to be able to force a vote unless Speaker Johnson pulls some shenanigans with the Rules Committee.
So the whole point is that there's a separation of powers in America. There's the executive branch has the authority, if there is an imminent threat against the United States, like let's say like a 9/11 type threat or something like that, to use the War Powers Act from the executive function as the what is it called? As the commander-in-chief, to be able to deploy troops for up to 60 days in any region in the world. But then after 60 days, he needs approval from the Congress in order to continue the war. Now, the reason that separation exists is because Congress is the representation of the people. Every district in America will get to weigh in, and then we'll be able to like tell their congressman, we don't want this shit. You better not vote for this, or we're going to vote you out. And so every congressman will sort of represent their district's interest in going to war with Iran, which would be very unpopular. And so Trump used to shit on Obama and Bush for not going to Congress, and then kind of just using these emergency functions to go to Afghanistan, using the emergency functions to go into Iraq. And so Massey's saying the same thing. Is like, if the Constitution is very clear, but Trump is saying that because they were an imminent threat, we were under immediate danger. That's why Trump had the executive authority to act the way he did, even though Iran did not pose an immediate threat. That's what Thomas Massey is arguing. And he's right. So Trump is abusing the executive power and he is not asking Congress for authority, which I showed you guys a clip 2 days ago of him beefing with Jeb Bush over George Bush's decisions, saying that Iraq was a bit fat mistake. And then there's tons of posts you can find on Twitter and things like that where Trump is criticizing the Obama administration, the Biden administration, the and the Bush administration, criticizing them for not going to Congress for approval because America would not want to be involved in these. That's his point. I don't know why you can't hear the questions. This is Forbes breaking news. They have trash ass cameras or trash ass microphones outside the lawn, and they have Steve. Why are you sending me all these emojis, man? You want an oil trade? I'll give you an oil trade. You stop sending emojis. Marksman J says, "Dog, we need you back more consistently. Miss you, gang. No Diddy." It's good to be back, bro. Okay. I can't even hear the fucking speaker's questions, or I can't hear the interviewer's questions, bro. The video is from CNN, and Forbes is reporting on this. What kind of dump? Oh, they just don't even want to give the CNN.
Well, he doesn't have to run for re-election, but it will, I think, fragment our party, this action that he's taken, and it's going to hurt us in the midterms. We could lose the majority over this one issue. And, you know, because people become disillusioned, disaffected, apathetic, and don't show up to vote. And then the Democrats get in the majority and end up impeaching him again. I think this was a bad move.
Crazy. This is how NASDAQ works. We might get the buys before we get the sells. That's insanity. We might get the buys before we get the sells. That's insane. We were so freaking close to the shorts, and this thing just might run all the way to the bottom of the range. That's why the higher time frame analysis makes sense. Now, what I just did was we have a new impulse where this is the bullish impulse that I measured. And so the tester entries will be higher now. And then the final entries will be right at the zone. We've had so many touches at this support, though, it's kind of giving me the heebie-jeebs. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. If we come back down for a 5th touch, it's very likely to break through. So we'll probably have to take this thing as sort of like a scalp. Not a scalp, but like more of like an intraday trade where if we do trade this impulse and then catch this retest, it's going to be like a quick tap. And then if it's going to break, it'll break from here. We might not even get TP1. So just keep that in mind as well. Excuse me. So I think we have one quick scalp that is showing itself right here. That was the 88.6 trade. So that would mean this is our new low. I'm going to throw up an extension fib real quick just to verify that this is the right zone. I don't think I have a 1.27 extension. Forget it. So yeah, we're very likely to make it all the way back down the range. Now, can somebody tell me, is there either somebody speaking right now or is there some news that just, I'll check the news that just dropped. 9:45, nope. Where's Bozeman speaking? The Milwaukee Business Journal mid-year. The Milwaukee Business Journal. Get me the fuck off this page. Okay. Is somebody speaking right now or no? No buys until the bottom of the range. Bottom and top of the range only. There might be another rejection here, but trust me on this one. You want to wait till the bottom of the range hits. Let's clean this up a little bit here. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. I'll put the sell zone up here in red. Put the buy zone down here in green. Boom. Damn, what's the chances this plays out? Okay. So now within the smaller range, we have our discount and premium, and we also have our support and our resistance. So 21,518. Let's call it 21,518-ish. That'll be the buy zone. Yeah, 21,500, 21,520, that area. And again, I really do expect like a rejection and then a crash because we've already had so many touches at this daily support. The more touches that it has, the more likely it is to break. So like after the first touch, okay, that's a coincidence. Then the second touch, that's a pretty good retest zone. Third touch, I'd be a little bit weary about, but you can get a scalp. But it's like, imagine like it's a sheet of ice. Every time the ball hits, like this metal ball hits, is bouncing. By the fourth or fifth time, dude, this thing might break through. Right? So I do expect some kind of like mild rejection and then a final break to the downside here. Let's see if that plays out. Thomas Massey, let's see what else you got.
Well, he doesn't have to run for re-election, but it will, I think, fragment our party, this action that he's taken, and it's going to hurt us in the midterms. We could lose the majority over this one issue. And, you know, because people become disillusioned, disaffected, apathetic, and don't show up to vote. And then the Democrats get in the majority and end up impeaching him again. I think this was a bad move politically, but it's also just a bad move legally and constitutionally and policy-wise.
He's 100% right. And Trump is trying to call him a bum because Trump can't argue the actual points.
Absolutely, he broke a campaign promise. And there are a lot of the base will say that, although not too many of my Republican colleagues will say that. They're frankly afraid of him. And they're also afraid of the Israel lobby in Congress that's given millions and millions of dollars to so many of my colleagues.
Oh, they cut that interview off quick. But he said the Israeli lobby, and the interview was over within seconds. All right. Well, let's get kicked off YouTube. Time to get kicked off YouTube. I'll tell you guys how based Thomas Massey really is. Okay? This is why they hate him.
Hey, yours is the right vote, but I would just take too much flack back home. And I have Republicans who come to me and say, that's wrong what AIPAC is doing to you. Let me talk to my AIPAC person. By the way, everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC. They're probably a constituent in your district, but they are, you know, firmly embedded in AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
I don't know how it works on the Democrat side, but that's how it works on the Republican side. Or AIPAC. It's wrong what AIPAC is doing to you. Let me talk to my AIPAC person. By the way, everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC. They're probably a constituent in your district, but they are, you know, firmly embedded in AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
And we just found this out. Well, I mean, we've known this. If you're kind of in this world, you've known this. But why are we just finding this out? Because Thomas Massey is the only one with cojones the cojones to say it. And so this is the guy that Trump is trying to call a bum, the only person actually telling us the truth. For fuck's sake. This was Trump's job. Trump was supposed to be the inside or the outsider going into the swamp and sort of like, number one, kicking out all the swamp creatures. Number two, sort of telling us how the game really works, how the sausage is made. And he's done none of it. None. All right, that 88-6 rejection here just played out. Wild. It was this trade. This is so stupid. Okay, I'm not going to fuck up my markups. Let's go back to... It's a waiting day, people. It's a waiting day. This couldn't get more clear. This couldn't get more clear. We know where the buy and sell zones are. We got really close at the top. We got really close at the bottom. But just wait for it. Okay? We're not wrong. We're just early. And we didn't take the trade, so we're not wrong. All right? If you take the right trade at the wrong time, it's still the wrong trade. Right trade, wrong time, wrong trade. If you wait, there's never a wrong trade. Huh? And a lot of people hate being wrong. Like, they hate missing a trade more than they hate losing money. That's what I found. We've coached thousands of traders. I'll tell you guys, as a promise. A lot of people, when I ask them, which one feels worse? We get down to brass tacks. Losing money and losing a trade and taking a chance and losing it, or missing out on a trade. And it goes your way, even though you thought and you knew that it was supposed to, and you didn't take the trade. They'll say the FOMO hurts more than losing money. Now, I'll tell you, FOMO is a delusion. It's all in your head. The fear of missing out. Missing on what? Like as if this was your trade. If it was your trade, you would have taken the trade. It's not your trade. You're not in it. The fear of missing out. This is not the only trade that's going to happen. There's 1,000 million trades that happened before you got into trading, and these markets will outlive all of us. So there is no fear of missing a trade. It's all in your head. The fear of some imaginary delusional thing. Losing money is real. There's a physical reality to where there are now less credits in your account than there were previously. That's a physical Newtonian reality. But most people think that this delusional, like, fear of missing out hurts more than losing the fucking money. And that's like 99% of the problems of trading, explained. Is some people are operating under delusion and their brain is running the show, and some of us are running off of rationale, and we are running the show. And that's the difference. Is, are you on autopilot letting your fucking bird brain run the show, or are you in charge as the conscientious observer of this experience? You tell your body to jump, it jumps. You tell your brain to jump, it jumps. Are you in charge or not? So those of you guys feeling some kind of emotional tension because of this trade or missing a trade or doing a trade or whatever, but you haven't actually taken any actions, it's all in your fucking head. You're welcome. Thomas Massey, goated. Let's see what else he's got to say.
I don't know how it works on the Democrat side, but that is, I'm coming at you like you've never seen, never in your life.
What former President Trump said to him after Massey opposed the coronavirus relief package in 2020. Listen.
So this is pretty important to recognize that I haven't seen this like mashup clip, but yeah, let's see this real quick.
He comes on and goes, I'm coming at you like you've never seen, never in your life before. Have you seen the way in which I will come at you? I'm more popular than you in Kentucky, and you know it. I'm backing your primary opponent, and you're gonna lose. And I'm like, oh crap, I probably will lose.
Massey added that Trump and him have since patched things up and have a better relationship.
Well, I must begin by saying that Thomas Massey has a pretty good Donald Trump impression.
Whoa. Thank you, George Dillon. Thank you, George, for this breaking news. Mario Nafal, one of the biggest sort of voices on X. And now that we've learned that Elon was giving a massive platform to a lot of his like baby mamas and stuff, and they were the ones really pushing like the X payment platform, getting a bunch of content creators on X. It was all bullshit. He just picked his friends, made them massively popular, and then got them to advertise the platform. Mario Nafal is kind of one of those those industry plants. But anyways, Mario Nafal, big journalist type figure on Twitter, just broke this news that Iran has fired missiles at the U.S. base in Qatar. Now, in case you guys don't know, because the media has propagandized the fuck out of us, Qatar is not the largest sponsor of terror in the world. Qatar is actually the home of America's largest military base. Iran fires missiles at U.S. base in Qatar. Breaking news. Iran has reportedly launched 6 missiles targeting the U.S. military installations in Qatar. The strikes come after days of intelligence warnings, embassy evacuations, and airspace shutdowns across the Gulf. Let me repeat. The strikes came after days of intelligence warnings, and so the intelligence apparatus was telling their regional partners that this is coming. They knew about this. Okay, the retaliation from Iran for hitting all their nuclear bases, pretty expected. Embassy evacuation. So the U.S. has already been evacuating our embassies in the region, and airspace shutdowns across the Gulf. Okay, Al Udeid Air Base, home to U.S. CENTCOM, which is the Central Command, is believed to be the primary target. No confirmed damage or casualties yet, but they hit the U.S. Air Base, which is the head of our Central Command. This is getting fucking deep. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Yo, wasn't Pete Hegseth was supposed to talk yesterday at 8 a.m. Obviously, I wasn't fucking awake at 8 a.m. to watch this, but let's actually see. What the fuck, dude? This is not good. This is not good at all. See. The Hindustan Times, the Times of India, like the only people reporting on this shit. 30 minutes ago. When did Mario Nafal post this? This happened 5 minutes ago. This happened 5 fucking minutes ago. 12:41. Dude, it's not even on the fucking news yet. We are breaking this news right now. We're the first ones breaking this news. Qatar closes airspace as world awaits possible Iranian retaliation. So, like, everyone fucking knew this was coming. What kind of retaliation is this? You guys remember the example I used at the very beginning of the stream where there's an Iranian guy standing at the bar and then the small Israeli guy comes up and just smacks him. And then the big US, the American comes up behind him and he said, you better not do it. And there's this kind of a standoff. This is like everybody at the bar knows I'm going to go hit him. There's a Qatari guy that's hanging out with them. He's wearing a thobe. He's just like in his fucking drip, right? He's in his fucking Qatari drip. And he's just over there minding his fucking business. But he's boys with the boys. And the Iranian dude walks over and just smacks the Qatari dude. But he announces it first and says, by the way, I'm going to smack the Qatari dude. And then everybody's like preparing for Iran to smack the Qatari dude. And the Qatari dude is just standing like this, getting ready to get smacked. What the fuck kind of conflict is this? This seems very staged to me. You don't go and hit back your adversaries for bombing your uranium enrichment facilities by like a planned attack in advance. You just announce to everybody, I'm gonna go smack that Qatari dude, even though the Israeli guy and the Iranian guy hit me, or the American guy hit me. Like, does this sound fishy to you guys? He says, getting ready to short Naz. I would wait to the top and the bottom of the range. It's very clear. It's very clear, actually. We have a mini range over here. Here's the high and the low of this current impulsive range. We're looking at this box. So we're going to buy the bottom of the box and sell the top, and it has not hit either yet. Right? This is a false flag. And then we have another sell at the very top and another buy at the very, very bottom for the bigger sort of, the bigger picture. Dude, guys, put a 1 in the chat if this seems fishy, that the whole world is. This is 43 minutes ago. By the way, George, you're a fucking legend. Thank you for the Mario Nafal post. Plug. But 45 minutes ago, the whole world is prepping for this bomb. and then it just fucking happens. This seems like the Iranians are talking to like their counterintelligence, their counterparts in America and saying, okay, look, you guys know we can't be pussy about this. You guys know we can't let this slide. We have to do something, otherwise our citizens are going to eat us alive. So we're going to be doing a bomb on this specific time at this specific place. Make sure to evacuate all your people. And then America calls the embassy and calls all of their people out there in Qatar and tells them to evacuate. They're like, all right, Iran calls them back. Hey, is everyone gone? Can we bomb it yet? Is everything safe? Okay, we're about to bomb it. Like, this seems like you have to have a considerable level of cooperation, coordination in order to give this much of a heads up. Missiles are not that fucking slow. You can send some missiles. Like, I'm so fucking confused. It's feeling like 1984. Definitely, I couldn't have fucking said it any better. Actually, this feels like Animal Farm. And I recommend a lot of you guys go and Spark Notes that shit because you didn't read it in fucking school like you were supposed to. But go Spark Notes it and go back and figure out the exact purpose of that book, Animal Farm. This is what we're seeing. Explosions heard over Doha during Iranian missile strike. There are multiple. This is Mario Nafal, breaking news post sent to us by George. Explosions heard over Doha during Iranian missile strike. There are multiple reports of loud explosions over Doha following Iran's missile attack targeting U.S. bases in Qatar. Let's go ahead and see this video here. This is in Qatar, in Doha. Beautiful country, by the way. I love Qatar. By the way, look at the lack of, even though they're very developed, look at the lack of light pollution that even through this shitty fucking Nokia that this guy is clearly filming on, that there you could see Orion's belt, just like clear as day. Or those are fucking specks on his screen. I don't know. Nope, that's Orion's belt. Or those are fucking missiles. Bro, what am I supposed to be looking at here? I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to be seeing here. Am I retarded? The fuck is this? Qatari air defense engaging Iranian missiles. Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck he would waste that 5-second fucking picture. That was not the Orion's belt and the stars. Those are missiles. Holy shit. Boy, was I wrong. I was talking about the lack of light pollution and how you could see the stars. You could go out there into the desert. Those were fucking missiles coming out of the sky.
Madam.
Allahu, that's what you want to hear. George, my bad, brother. I jumped ahead and took conclusions. That's scary. Because Qatar is like, you guys have to realize the Gulf nations, these are the Arabian Gulf. We're specifically talking about Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates that has Abu Dhabi and Dubai and those different states. And then you have Qatar, you have Bahrain, you have Yemen. They're all sort of sitting there in this Arabian Peninsula. Yemen is the only one that's constantly getting fucked up and bombed. Okay, Al-Qaeda had invaded their country. They created this militant group called the Houthis to basically fight Al-Qaeda. The West sided with Al-Qaeda for some fucking reason against the Houthis. Then the Houthis basically started becoming pirates and stopping international ships through their waters as a way to sort of get money in order to fight this war against Al-Qaeda. This whole, like, the Houthi psyop is the one that you guys, like, the rabbit hole. You guys should probably go down that rabbit hole where it was like a militant group that was basically formed to fight Al-Qaeda. And America basically sided with Al-Qaeda, the country that did 9/11, to fight these Houthis. Anyways, so Qatar and like the big Gulf states, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE usually never see conflict. The big countries, Iran included up until this point, Turkey and Egypt, they use Syria, they use Pakistan, and they use Afghanistan as their fighting grounds, and Iraq, like a fucking Call of Duty map. But within mainland America, we don't see conflict. Within mainland Qatar, they don't usually see missiles coming over. This is just as rare as if America saw missiles coming over our borders and coming over to like Boston or something. You would be like, holy shit. I know that we fund a whole bunch of this nonsense, but God, we were always fighting it in these third world shitholes. I can't believe it's actually come onto our shores. Like, put yourself in their shoes. That's the exact mentality that the Qataris were having watching this missile strike. He said, chill, no Boston, let me step first. But you're in Boston, but no, ain't nobody fucking bombing Boston. All right, relax. I live like 30 miles out of DC. I'm in the blast radius, buddy. I'm in the blast radius. Dog. I'm in the fucking blast radius. I mean, if you're in like if you're in the DMV, you're in the blast. Ain't nobody bombing Boston. They don't give a fuck about the New England, right? Oh, Katz's Deli. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is up in New England that they're trying to bomb, right? The Permantes brothers. That's what's up there. You feel me? Fucking Tony Luke's. Everybody better get out the fucking way. That's all I got. But look how nice Qatar is, but he's got that fucking that handprint door to get in. Come on, beep beep. Push. Dude, this is getting fucking nuts. This is getting nuts. Yo, send more links. Send more links if you have them as they come in, George. No one got the Katz's Deli, the Tony Luke's, or the Permantes brothers reference. Is anybody here from Boston, or Philadelphia, or Rhode Island? None? Nobody? Yeah, man, fuck. And we need a bigger audience, bro. This is getting fucking retarded. I'm making way too many funny jokes. I'm not getting nearly enough credit for it, and this is getting ridiculous. Al Jazeera live for live coverage is the Qatari news station. It's not a Qatari news station, but they're pretty funded by it. You can't help but every time you go on YouTube and you type in Al Jazeera, they have that little Wikipedia notice at the bottom. Wikipedia is an Israeli psyop. Throwing that out there, just so you guys know, because every single fucking COVID post, you guys remember the COVID warning posts? Yeah, as if I trust the fucking warning labels. Qatar, U.S. bomb. I don't know what the fuck to type in for this. A U.S. embassy in Qatar orders Americans to shelter in place 4 fucking hours ago. Guys, I'm gonna hit that guy in 4 hours. You better get fucking ready. I'm gonna go hit him. You won't believe it. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him hard. He just went ahead and announced it. Let me get the microphone. Let me get the bullhorn. I'm gonna announce this attack 4 hours in fucking advance. He said Al Jazeera. Dude, there's FBI agents showing up to my door. I'm searching up Al Jazeera and shit. We're getting cooked. I got fucking 3 dudes in aviator shades, like the guys in Top Gun, coming to my door after this. And then after this, I think that we'll listen to Pete Hegseth's bullshit explanation for why we have a conflict. Iran missiles hit Israel after that's 1 day ago. 1 day ago, 12 hours ago. Dude, are we breaking this news right now? Are we breaking this news? There is no news in the last hour. I'm changing the name of this fucking stream. I'm going to say US. I'm going to say the most salacious fucking title. You guys are watching this in prime time, how clickbaiting works. I'm going to clickbait the fuck out of this title, even though it's going to be 100% true. US attacks Qatar. Oh, wait, no. I'm going to say US base attacked in Qatar. Alive. Dude, there is nothing. Al Jazeera. Nothing. Okay. Here's what we do. We go to fucking Twitter because this is why I trust Elon Musk way more than I trust fucking Trump, because freedom of speech is the only barrier against communism. It's the only barrier against authoritarianism. It's the only thing standing in the way between fascism and civilized society. The ability to get real fucking news and be able to communicate honestly and openly with people is the only thing standing in the way between a complete technocracy, a complete authoritarian regime, and democratic civility. And so I don't care what you say about Elon, starting a platform where you can get the news. Like, I'm about to search this up. We're going to get more hits than we did on YouTube. YouTube has 0 hits. And we just literally about to start World War III. Guys, Iran attacking Qatar is fucking World War III. This is World War III. Archduke Franz Ferdinand got shot and we went into World War I. Who gives a fuck about Archduke Franz Ferdinand? This is Qatar, and the largest U.S. military base in the entire fucking world, just got bombed by Iran, the largest military in the Middle East. This is World War III. And the U.S. is involved already. Guys, I just found out earlier this morning when I was doing some research that China gave $400 billion to Iran. Let me verify this. China, $400 billion to Iran in the last few months. In the last few months, to Iran deal. I don't want the fucking conversion rate, bitch. New York Times. China, $400 billion deal to Iran could deepen the influence in the Middle East. A $400 billion check? Yo, if somebody gave me $4,000 today, I'd probably do them a favor or two. $400 billion fucking dollars. 400 billion fucking dollars? Guys, our coaching program, the ACP coaching program is 3,500. For 3,500, I'm going to coach you to absolute success to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in the span of 30 days. You have my time for 30 fucking days. For $400 billion, what am I going to do? Yeah. $400 billion. I'm going to be your fucking muscle in the region. This is a proxy war. Everyone thinks that Israel runs America. No. We are using them as our fucking proxy in the region. They're the ones at risk. Qatar and China are using Iran as their proxy right now. They're fighting with these puppets from a distance. $400 billion. Iran is your puppet now. This is a war directly between American machinery and troops and equipment and money versus Chinese equipment, versus Chinese goods, versus Chinese money. This is World War III, people. In real time. Despicable. Now, Elon Musk did start a platform where we can get the real news. And so let's see if we can actually find some on-the-ground reports of this. Roy, I'm at my uncle's house and my cousins, sensei, they joined in the master classes. They just started a summer job, so we're investing in your class. Steve, reach out to us and get a promo code for you and your family. Don't pay full price. Reach out to us. You've been on the streams long enough, and I got mad love. So email us right now. info@chartaddictsfx.com. Steve, info@chartaddictsfx.com. Email us and get the fuck. Oh, T already used the fucking. T's trying to get his own code. 25% off. All right. You know what? I'll let it slide. Steve, use that code right there. Fuck the email. It's right there. Okay? He said fire stream. Yeah, fire stream. The world's on fire. I hope that's what you mean. I'm not even going to put the word bomb. Let me just do Iran. Can you give a shout out to my cousin Dick Suck? Man, fuck you. All right, no. Fucking. He tried to hit me one of those things. It's like, can you give a shout out to my cousin Big B? Big B Alls? Oh, big balls. Big balls. Oh, son of a bitch. I read it. This guy's. That's childish. The world's on fire. That's childish. Okay. Son of a bitch. I almost got my ass. Okay. The United States has issued a shelter-in-place warning. These are all dude, let me give me a filter, man. See, this is why I think Mario Nawfal is an inside plant. Because how the fuck does he have This top news. Let's do the latest, actually. C'est quoi la logique d'attaquer de Qatar? No, dude. How is your name Akram and you're sitting there typing in French? I don't like this. Psyop. Everything's a psyop. NDTV. This definitely sounds like a George Soros funded fucking news station. US base in Qatar attacked as Iran retaliates again. You know what? If we're the ones breaking this news, let me just type out a tweet real quick, people. If you guys can just give me a second. Breaking news. Qatar or Iran attacks US air base in Qatar. No casualties or injuries reported yet. I'm going to farm the fuck out of this story then. This is what people do on the internet, by the way. You're just going to literally just cook the fuck out of this. Iran attacks US airbase, which is true. Somebody has to have. Who can I trust? Who would have this news? I know somebody would. Let's see if Mike Pence has it. No. Pete Hexa, no. Let's see who would have this news first. Fucking Mario Nafal is the only person that comes to mind. Travis Hawley, no. Fact check politics from the UK? Oh my God. I've never been more disgusted in my life. Let me see. Dude, is this King of Somalia with 2 A's got this news before any fucking official news agency? Dude, where is the Associated Press? By the way, if you guys want a prop firm account for 80% off, go ahead and click the link in the description or just use code ChartAddicts on Apex Trader funding. You're welcome. I just saw the question about prop firms. That's where you can find it. It's in the link. Associated Press, please tell me that your AI articles could have written something this fast. JLP, what are you laughing at, man? What is so damn funny? Okay, well, the AP has it. Fucking, excuse my language, guys. Shit. No news agency is covering World War III. What's more important? Fucking Meghan Markle somewhere is more important. She's sucking dick. Meghan Markle is sucking dick. Breaking news. Sorry, guys. World War III can wait. We're getting the largest. The Al Kuwait air base is getting fucking bombed by Iran. Iran and Qatar are in direct kinetic warfare right now. But I'm sorry because Prince Harry has a fucking pimple on his cheek. Okay? We got to wait because Kim Kardashian is showing her butthole for $2 online. We got to fucking wait, people. I'm sorry. Qatar can fucking wait. World War III is not a big deal. The chick from the Dr. Phil, the bad Bobby, is talking on CNN. So World War III can wait, obviously. Just what the fuck we're doing over there. These stupid sons of bitches. Iran launched a missile attack on Monday in the U.S. military base in Qatar, retaliating for the American bombing of its nuclear sites. Anybody in my chat could have told us that. The announcement was made on state television as martial music played. A caption on screen called it a mighty and successful response by the armed forces of Iran to America's aggression. Now we're talking. We got to go to Iranian media. I'm definitely having some white guy in a suit pulling up to my fucking door after this. That's a promise. I'm going to read a caption on screen called it a mighty and successful response by the armed forces of Iran to America's aggression. The attack came shortly after Qatar closed its airspace as a precaution amid threats from Iran. What the fuck, dude? Either these guys are trash military strategists Like, if you guys were in charge, you guys are just sitting at work right now, right? Your boss is a pain in the ass. The person who sits next to you is chewing too loud. I get it. Answer me one fucking question. If I put you in charge of this military operation, would you have given everybody a heads up, or is that an inside plot? Huh, I said check I-24 news. The fuck do I look like checking something called I-24? This is serious. Would you guys give everybody in the world a fucking heads up? George, you're a legend. Thank you. I don't know what you just sent, but I know it's heater. Iran confirms missile strike on U.S. Al Kuwait base. By the way, oof. What if we did here to here? Damn. Damn. Fuck, dude. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up. Okay. Damn. Wait a second. If that's working, and then we reverse it, there's a cell right here. Son of a... Okay. Yeah, would you guys have given everybody in the world a warning before you did this attack? No, the answer is no. Since nobody wants to fucking answer, let me go ahead and break this down for you. The answer is fuck no. You would not give the whole world an announcement. This is from Mario No Fall, breaking news right now. Iran confirms the missile strike on the U.S. Fuck, I don't know how to pronounce this base. I'm going to regret even trying later. The Al Duaid base in Qatar. The Iran's IRGC, which is like the official name of their government, has officially confirmed their military, excuse me, has officially confirmed its launch of a retaliatory missile attack on the U.S. Al Daid Air Base. The announcement follows earlier reports of interceptions over Doha. So I'm guessing that Qatar has their own version of an Iron Dome, and there was missiles intercepted on their way to attacking this facility. But Iran's IRGC initially did not take credit for the strike, but now has taken full credit, and it is now, Trump is in the Situation Room with top defense officials. Trump is currently in the Situation Room with the Secretary of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. We've seen Marco Rubio here. We see Trump with his hat on. Now, they obviously expected some kind of retaliation. Whenever you run a war simulation or you run an attack simulation like they do in the Pentagon, in finance, we call them Monte Carlo simulations, where you run a different kind of set of inputs and you try to figure out, okay, what are the likely scenarios here so we can prepare for multiple different versions. And so the Pentagon, they cook war, or they simulate war games more than... We're more prepared for military war actions than we are for any sort of like biological weapons attack or the next pandemic or a weather attack like an earthquake or a tsunami. We are more prepared for war games than we are for any natural disaster type attack. So I'm guessing they already have the 5 different versions of how this is going to look, which is they attack our military base in Qatar, they attack our military base in Iraq, they attack our military base in Syria. And then so we're going to have to see the retaliation here. This went from an in and out. I wrote this in the article the other day. This went from an in and out sort of, we're going to bomb and leave. And the reason this is so destructive is because without a clear plan of what we're going to do next, this is going to escalate into a global regional conflict. We don't have a plan of what to do once we bombed them. We bombed them, and Iran can't get a nuke. Okay, Trump is a fucking retard. Now that we know that Iran can't get a nuke, now what? Mr. Retard. Now what? I know I'm kind of going hard on Trump today, but for fuck's sake, World War III and adding $2 trillion to the fucking budget and not deporting anybody, and the Epstein list is still fucking private, and you kicked out Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, and now you're shitting on Thomas Massey. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump with a cactus dick. That's what I think. I feel like I've been completely duped because I really gave him the benefit of the doubt. I really sat here and fucking defended this dude, and now when you go back and clip up clips of me defending Trump, I look like a fucking idiot. And I don't want to look like a fucking idiot. having betrayed all of my ideals to support some fucking Turkey. All right. That's when you know I'm mad or hungry. I'm just calling people fucking food names. I'm like, how's it? You know, he's a fucking donut. He's a fucking grilled cheese with tomato sauce. You know, he's a fucking. All right. I wrote this yesterday. Why these strikes do not serve the U.S. interest. Okay. I said we have no exit strategy. Trump has not outlined a plan beyond bomb and leave. Without any clear goals, this can lead to a cycle of retaliation. Iran has warned of counterstrikes. 2 days later, people, Roy was right. I was fucking right. Every word for word, bar for bar, I was right. Now, endanger U.S. troops in Iraq, Syria, Bahrain, and Qatar. Guys, was I right or not? And then it could drag us into a broader regional conflict involving Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other Iranian proxies. Notice I didn't mention Hamas because they're kind of cooked right now. But everybody else is fair game. I said this. Now, we don't have much breaking news. I can guarantee by the time we drop off of this stream, I will be off. Or by the time we hop off the stream, there will be some new developments. I am going to hop off now because these trades are not going to play out for a while. We have the sells, we have the buys. Keep these in mind. Members, I'm sending this into the members only chat right now. Marcelo, you're getting cooked later because of this markup here, but that's besides the point. Bro, this dude really just drew back the same fib and threw it at me like I was about to just approve of this. Wait. Oh. Interesting. No, still bad. Marcelo, we'll talk about this. We'll go over this tonight. Okay, cool. And then let me throw this markup into the members only chat. Boom. Okay, if you guys want to read this full article, the link is in the description. If you guys want to sign up for the NASDAQ Masterclass to learn how we trade NAS 100, make consistent money, get your life in order, get these fucking payouts from these prop firms, pass these challenges, go ahead and click the link in the description, people. It's me teaching this strategy. What more could you want? All right. I'll keep you guys posted on Twitter about any developments or escalations in this conflict. Members, keep an eye on the chats for any developments on these trades. And everybody else, leave a like and subscribe on your way out. I fell for it too, bro. That guy's a total moron. He's not a moron. He's got great instincts and he's very intelligent. The fucking problem is that he's allowed all of these warhawks into his cabinet, and he hasn't learned jack dick from his first fucking term. And he's got retards like Marco Rubio and Israel dick suckers like Marco Rubio telling him what we should do, and not in our interest, but to protect the interest of our allies in the region. He's got 60 million evangelical votes waiting for him. But Trump is not running for re-election. Why the fuck are you taking the evangelical vote that is Israel supporting into account for this? Dude, fuck Donald Trump, okay? I'm out of it. I'm out. Roy, eager to get back in, got out of oil. What should I do? Kind of stuck. Steve, give me a second. Let me go through this oil trade. Guys, if you're going to sign up for the masterclass, I'll give you free trade ideas. That's how it works. Steve, are you trading WTI or are you trading US oil or what are you trading? Are you trading WTI crude? What are we doing here? This is the last thing I'm going to cover on this stream. Steve said he was going to get the masterclass, him and the boys. Let's see if we can get him a free trade idea here as a consolation. All right, you win this next trade, you're going to make enough money for the masterclass, Steve. So you better ask this question straight up. You better make this worth everybody's time. What are you trading? I will give you this trade idea. And while you type that up, I'll already have this thing marked off. US oil. Okay, let's go through US oil real quick. Let me show you guys. When was the last time you guys saw me trade US oil? I will still give him this trade idea. Oh, this shit is crashing. Okay. Damn. Were you in a long? I'm guessing you were in some buys. You saw that Qatar and Iran were bombing each other, and you thought that that would just mean the price is going to go up immediately? Brother, they've been pricing in this war for a long time, booty. Let me show you something. Get down to the 5 minute. Let's find the true body of this current impulse. Not good enough. We got to go down to the 1 minute chart. Come on. Boom. Right there. Beautiful. Okay, boom. We have our range. Go ahead and fib the range. Okay, boom. Go ahead and reverse the range. Okay, boom. And then verify that all the levels are touching. Let's go ahead and add a few levels here just for verification purposes. 78 lines up perfectly with that buy zone. Boom. 50%. Could we move this any lower or higher to make this make more sense? Nope. Looks good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Okay. Wait. You got yourself a fucking buy right here. So I don't really know if oil follows the 88.6 or the 78.6. Let me do some digging real quick. Go low to high. Delete all my fibs. Get rid of the 71. Looks like an 88.6 rejection, double bottom is 78 rejections, 78 rejections, 88.6. Maybe it's 93. Give me a second, guys. I'm like learning this pair in real time. Okay, close to 93. Let's do over here. That's 78. 78. 78. Interesting. 78. Ah, okay. Shit. So there's your buy right here at the 78 fib. Ah, shit, dude. This could actually be a pretty good buy opportunity right now. I'd probably wait for the 78 fib to get hit, but let's go body to wick. Let's go body to wick. We go body to wick. We're actually looking at the buy price pretty close to here. So yeah, long story short, you have about like a 30 to 50 basis point range here for buys, and then this thing is going to shoot back up. That's what I got for you. It's going to fly back up, actually. All right, Steve, is that good enough? I fall for it too, bro. That guy's a total moron. U.S. oil retailers got cooked. Everybody gets cooked. This is trading, brother. Unless you're a chart addict, you're getting cooked because it'll go to your zone and then just go lower. Then what happens after that? Then it goes lower again. And then what happens after that? And then it goes lower again. Drop a like and a subscribe on this stream if you guys are watching this on YouTube. If you don't do that, then fuck you. All right? That's what I got. That's I'm saying it with my chest. If you guys took all this free information and you won't click the button, then it's fuck you. Now, everybody else, George, thank you for all of the breaking news. Everybody who didn't get to catch a trade today, the 88.6 is coming here real soon. Real soon. Oh, by the way, it's entering the buy zone right now, Steve. I'd probably stay away if you're getting cooked today. I'd probably just stay out of this. All right. NASDAQ just hit the first sell level. I'm not taking any of the trades that are not the top and the bottom of this range. You guys know me. But is there going to be a sell right here? Yes. Let's actually watch this play out. Let's watch this play out. And let's see if I can find some breaking news somewhere while this thing plays out. Look at that rejection. Look at that rejection. Come on. I'll do the fucking here. Trading panel. Sell 500 units. Do a little paper trade here just to keep track. Okay, 500 is atrocious. Hold on. Let's go ahead and close the majority of this. We'll go 400. Okay, it's realistic. Watch this rejection. Dude, this market is going ballistic today. This is why I like paper trading or sim trading, because it kind of gets the itch out of like, all right, I've been sitting here for an hour and a half. I haven't taken a single live trade yet. Let's just play around with this. Let's see if the market is respecting these fib sequences. If it's not respecting any of the fib sequences, then you might have to be a little bit more weary. Might have to be a little bit more weary about taking the trades at the top of the range too. Looks like the market is just whipsawing back and forth. I just sold again for the sim trade. And looking to target TP1. Okay, wait for this thing to push back down, take your partials, then it comes back up for the second touch. Is this just like a live stream over Doha? What the fuck is this? Fuck out of here, man.
40. How's that? How is that? U.S. bases. Caitlin Collins says Joint Chiefs Chair Kane and Secretary
Caitlin Collins, like the basketball player?
Hegseth are in the Situation Room right now monitoring potential Iranian retaliation. All right, so we're bringing you live coverage.
Yeah, Dylan, I've been using Tradeovate. I've been using Tradeovate on under Apex's platform. That's what I've been using. So far, so good. And you can also trade it directly on TradingView. You can just take your logins that Apex will give you through your email for your PA accounts, and you can use those directly here. If you open up the trading panel, you can choose the list of brokers. Tradeovate will be the third one right here. You click on the Tradeovate, you can type in your Apex, and then your login directly on TradingView. Yeah, I'm getting pretty weary about taking these topside trade. I mean, the topside 88.6 is actually starting to come in. So I'll actually just raise my SL a little bit. And then I will martingale. Oh no! Oh, that was so stupid. Well, martingale some cells at the top.
Here.
Matter of fact,
Iran says it launched an attack on U.S. forces on Al Udeid at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, according to Associated Press. I'm hearing unconfirmed reports that maybe Iran is launching attacks, missiles at other U.S. bases. But CNN says missiles have been fired towards U.S. bases in Qatar and Iraq. All right. Hold on a moment here.
CNN, explosions in Doha. CNN News 18. What the fuck? 4 days ago. Dude. These people are usually all over this shit. This is a psyop for sure.
QATAR. So clearly, I think we've seen a remarkable moment of telegraphing building up to here. I mean, literally talking on cable news about the possibility of these attacks before they happen. The fact that this base was well known in Qatar, Al Udeid, key to US Central Command's operations across the busiest region they have: Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. All the major wars, really, of the last 20 years or so had been mostly emptied of personnel and key aircraft because of the concern of this. That was well publicized. Iran would have known that. And these missiles still fired at it with adequate warning for Qatar to be able to close its airspace in the previous hours. For this morning, the US Embassy to tell its staff and Americans to shelter in place. You couldn't have much more telegraphing, and this does to some degree echo what we saw after the killing of Qasem Soleimani in 2019. That occurred, and there was swiftly afterwards telegraph response from Iran towards American facilities in Iraq. So we don't know the full extent of this. We don't indeed know if multiple bases have been targeted. The initial indications are that it is not the case. But I think at this point we are seeing a very loud, after days of rhetoric, bid by Iran to show that it's able to respond, but not do anything to potentially further escalate the situation. Bear in mind, this is a country whose military capabilities are significantly weakened. They are potentially down to maybe 1,000 missiles that can hit Israel. These would have been potentially a shorter range to hit Qatar, but this is a military degraded heavily over the past 10 days. Potentially here, I think, trying to show that it has some deterrent value, but also, to be honest, Christian, through the telegraphed and frankly, probably at this point, what we can see, not particularly effective nature of this attack, also emphasizing their weakness at this point, Christian.
Really important to get that clarification, and we will continue to monitor, obviously. Nick, thank you. Now, just before Iran fired those missiles at American bases in Qatar and Iraq, an Iranian official told CNN that it wants the US to, quote, directly pay for the war. Well, maybe this is it. Iran's foreign minister met Russian President Vladimir Putin today at the Kremlin. Now, while Russia does support Iran diplomatically, and Iran supports Putin's war in Ukraine, there is no indication Putin will join Iran in any military escalation. On Sunday, Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister, said his country had the right to self-defense.
The world must not forget that it was the United States which, in the midst of a process to forge a diplomatic outcome, betrayed diplomacy. In accordance with the UN Charter and its provisions allowing a legitimate response in self-defense, Iran reserves all options to defend its security interests and people.
Now, there are currently tens of thousands of US troops, we said, based around the Middle East, and Trump has promised an overwhelming response if they were targeted. But as we also discussed with Secretary Kerry, if this is a proportionate response, if it is the only response, if there are no deaths, no injuries, then he said the Trump administration, any administration, should understand the proportionality and try to get back to the negotiating table. We'll see how the US responds. But Hossein Mousavian was one of Iran's main nuclear negotiators. He served as Iran's ambassador to Germany, and he's joining me now from Paris to talk more about this. Welcome back to our program. Can I first ask you what you make of this response? It was telegraphed by Iranian state television, and now we're hearing the details that apparently it was 11 missiles. They say in proportionate response to the number of bombs, from the MOP bombs that the US dropped. What do you make bombs that the US dropped. What do you make of this response? And do you think it will be the only response?
I think, Christian, it was clear for everyone that Iran will respond. And the response also was expected to be proportionate. Now, just we have heard they have attacked American military base in Qatar, and Iran has publicly said this has been proportionate response. If this is the Iranian position, it means you have launched X number of bombs, and we have launched X number of bombs. The most important issue is exactly what Secretary Kerry said. There is no solution, military solution, only diplomacy. And I hope after this military escalation between Iran and the US, both negotiators would go back to negotiating table.
Let me ask you, though, because Iran had to make a decision, obviously. We've spoken in depth about how it has been weakened, both with its military capacity at home and with its proxies, who are its foreign shock troops abroad. It's been very, very, disadvantaged in that level. But the supreme leader, Khamenei, had to decide, right, exactly what to do so that he didn't, he hopes, invite an even stronger US response, and that the regime survives. Is that a calculation that was going on, do you think, in the establishment as they made this response?
Christian, I think always there has been a miscalculation on both parties, and also Western countries, they frequently have made and have had miscalculations. We remember the 8 Years' War when the US, Europe, Soviet Union, all Arab countries, they were united to support invasion of Saddam, money, weapon, the most sophisticated weapons. Even that time, Iran did not have missile. And the narrative was that, oh, Shah is gone and Iranian army is in disorder. This is the best time to attack and disintegrate Iran. And then you noticed, despite of the consensus internationally from the Eastern Bloc to Western Bloc, Arab countries, everybody supported with hundreds of billions of dollars of sophisticated weapons and money, everything, propaganda, political. At the end, Iranian resisted 8 years and did not give a millimeter of their land, and Saddam is gone, and the Islamic Republic is there. I mean, this is always the...
We basically wasted our time in Iraq, and the power, the Islamic Republic, meaning ISIS, is still there. We still haven't eliminated ISIS. If anything, we've emboldened them.
The wrong narrative.
Okay. So let me ask you then to follow up on that. I mean, we're talking about the 1980s, and at that time, the leader, Ayatollah.
If this thing starts breaking aggressively back up to the double tops, I'm going to close this trade. I think the markets is just breaking through. There seems to be a lot of buying pressure towards the U.S. stock side. It kind of seems like, okay, this is a show of strength in the U.S. It seems like a lot of money is moving in, and it's breaking through all these levels without rejection. So we had the 78 rejection so far, but we have not had the 88.6 rejection, unless it really wasn't drawn. No, I believe we drew the fib perfectly, and I feel like this is going to be this is make or break right here at this sell level. Getting pretty close to my maximum daily loss though, so I do have to be mindful here. I'm going to be looking to de-risk this trade. We get back below, let's say, 20,030. Once we get back into the 30s, I'll have to de-risk this trade a bit.
Khomeini said that I will have to drink reluctantly from the poison chalice, right? The cup of poison in order to end this war. Is that what Khamenei is going to have to do? Because Trump has said, surrender or else, or we need to, make peace or else. Is there a calculation beyond this response that the supreme leader has to make?
say, Christian, when in 1988 Ayatollah Khomeini said about the poison, it was because before this statement, he said he is going to fight until Saddam is removed. The only decision he made, he decided not to continue the war.
All right, I'm going to be de-risking my trade, so closing out some of those earlier entries, since I did enter a few positions above the range. So I'm going to close some partials here, and then now we have a great entry. We got our trade in profit, and then we are just going to wait, see if we get a full follow through here. Make sure I have stops 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one too many. And I've moved my stop losses down. I'm sort of trailing them. Now that we're back in the 40s. So we break back under the 78. That's where I'll close my partials again. Or even if we just get a drop back into the 20s, I'll close one more contract. I have 3 contracts open. Wait this through.
Or until Saddam is removed. Otherwise, he could save the country with his leadership. But at the moment, what is the most important issue on the table? Is it about nuclear or beyond? I personally believe Prime Minister Netanyahu, his objective is not nuclear, is regime change, is even disintegration of Iran. Whether this is American objective or not, this is the big question. Whether President Trump does not want nuclear bomb and his issue is nuclear, or he is after regime change. If he is after regime change, then you can, I think about a further escalation, regional war, trans-regional war, and a total disaster. But if his issue is about Iranian nuclear bomb, they have 3 major issues, Christian, on the table. One is about the IAEA cooperation with Iran, technical ambiguities, technical questions, or what? Or possible military dimension issues. As Secretary Kerry said, during 2015, the nuclear deal had and has the highest level of transparency and verification and inspection measures. Therefore, on this and exactly implement the same deal, because the deal was already implemented, every IAEA technical ambiguities were removed. This was resolved. Therefore, they have the experience, they have the deal on the verification. The second big issue is about the Iranian stockpile. First of all, as John Kerry said, Iran was not going to have such a big stockpile. When President Trump withdrew, while Iran was in full compliance with the deal, Iranians also minimized their commitment within the JCPOA.
So this spokesperson is basically insinuating that, because there was a rumor that like we were already in the middle of a negotiation deal with Iran, and then while America lulled them to sleep under this guise of cooperation, under this guise of negotiation, then we just bombed them out of nowhere. And this has kind of been contested, where Trump basically is saying that he had warned Iran multiple times that this was going to happen, and so like they should have known better, they should have accepted whatever underground deal they had going on. And then this Iranian spokesperson is on the other side saying, no, we were actually in the middle of these negotiations, and then they just basically just started bombing us halfway through the talks. Why did we bomb them halfway through the talks? So it's important to figure out which one of these is true, because if America did lull them to sleep under the guise of cooperation and then just do Israel's bidding, no bueno, no bueno.
And try to increase the level and capacity of the nuclear program as a bargaining chip.
Okay. So let me stop you there, because I understand what you're saying as a bargaining chip. But clearly, they misjudged. They misread the room. They misread Israel after October 7th. They misread Trump. And this bargaining chip clearly backfired against them. So the real question is, if they want to get back to a table, are they going to, as Kerry suggested, remove, I mean, I'm extrapolating, remove this commitment to the destruction of Israel and actually go to some consortium, which you, I think, were involved with, which involves basically threading the enrichment needle, what they need for a nuclear program that's civilian, but off formal Iranian territory. Is that going to be what they might do?
First of all, Christian, I really don't know what would be the final position of Iranian government because I'm not in the government, but I also believe I have written for 2 years that there is a need for ceasefire between Iran and Israel, and Iran and Israel, they should go back to the UN Charter and respect the UN Charter, not to threaten each other. Therefore, this should be, I think, a principle that
All right, it looks like as of right now the market's breaking above, and so we're gonna be a little bit patient here. I'm gonna give this thing a little bit more room to breathe. I have my stop set pretty close to the double top here, but I want to make sure I give this thing enough room to see if it fills the wick back to the downside. So this is kind of the make or break. I'll stay on just long enough to see if this trade plays out or not. If I'm gonna lose, I'll lose like a man. I'll be on here facing the consequences of my decisions. But if this does play out, then I will be here talking my shit, and you guys know the drill, right? So let's go ahead and prepare for that. I'm either going to be a genius or not, right? Now I trust my strategy more than I trust a lot of things in life, so I'm going to be patient here. Let's see if we get a wick back to the downside and get to close this in profit. The only move that I'll make besides that is that if we do break up kind of a little bit higher here into like the 90s or something, I might enter one more sell position. That way, if we do get this wick to the downside, I'll have that wick entry and I can start to close positions a lot sooner. That's how futures works. It's a first in, first out, FIFO sort of method for closure. So if I close one order, it'll close the first trade I put in. And those are going to be like those worst entries of the two. So let's let this thing play out. And we're actually getting some decent perspective here from, I don't know who buddy is over here, but it sounds pretty Iranian. It doesn't even sound Iranian to me.
at Iran and
It kind of sounds Iraqi, but you know.
Israel, none of them, they should threaten each other. They should respect the UN Charter. The second is about the nuclear deal, about the...
This guy is definitely Iraqi. Bro, am I bugging? Is anybody here Iraqi? Can you guys verify this for me? Does this sound like your uncle?
The stockpile. I heard Arakchi told Steve Witkoff during the first 3 round of negotiations that if there is a deal, Iran would be ready to export or to dilute the 400 kilogram of stockpile. Therefore, there would be no worry about Iran to make 10 nuclear bomb. And finally, the concern is about whether Iranian enrichment would be military enrichment or civilian enrichment. If they enrich below 5%, definitely this is civilian, and in midterm and long term, as you said, and I have already written, there could be a regional consortium between Iran, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Qatar, and other countries, supervised by International Atomic Energy Agency, like European Urenco Consortium. This would be multilateral, supervised by international community.
Mm-hmm. The last thing then is, because you...
All right, I just got reminded I have a meeting at 2 p.m., which is in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to be off in about 5, prep for this meeting. But I do think we'll get a follow through here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So see if we get at least a rejection back to the downside. We can close this trade in profits, make the profit target for today.
You're a former nuclear negotiator. I asked the Deputy Foreign Minister, Mr. Ravanchi, before the US entered this war, whether if the regime survives, because you have said, you know, you think the Israeli position is regime change, that they would go in, you know, in secret and actually take a decision to make a bomb because of what's happened. And he said, no, never, we never have, we never will, etc. Do you think they might, if this doesn't get back to a negotiating table? Is that an option like North Korea that's left on the table?
I think, Christian, it depends to the end state of the current situation. If the US and Israel would stop attacking Iran, Iran will stop. If the US comes back to the negotiation table, Iran would come. If the US would respect international rules, laws, regulations, which is NPT, Iran would be ready to make a deal and accept the highest level of transparency, open nuclear program, and then go to consortium. But if the objective is regime change and they are using the nuclear.
All right, as soon as we break back under the 50 mark, the 20,050 mark, I'm going to close out those first two positions and just leave two contracts open. So we get this rejection back down to fill this wick. I'm going to de-risk the trade and then just let the rest of it ride.
Just as an instrument to bring this country to a total collapse, I think Iranians ultimately would go for nuclear bomb.
Oof, gosh. All right. Well, we've been warned. Sayed Hossein Mousavian, thank you very much indeed. Now, let us get more on the Iranian missiles that were fired at US bases or a base, we don't know, with Becky Anderson. She's been following these developments from Abu Dhabi. So what's the latest on the impact that these missiles had?
Yeah, well,
Guys, this is a serious topic. We're not going to sit here and talk about let me talk to your manager haircut that she's rocking. We're not doing that. No. Bad chart addicts. We're going to sit here and focus.
I've got a statement from QATAR, and let me just read this to you, Christian. The missiles were fired at the Al Udeid Air Base by the IRGC. QATAR consider that a flagrant violation of the state of Qatar's sovereignty and airspace. The one you're seeing on your screen at the moment is actually the Defense Ministry statement. That's a second statement. The one I'm reading to you is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is a flagrant violation of the state of Qatar's sovereignty and airspace, as well as of international law. We affirm the state of Qatar reserves the right to respond directly in a manner proportional to the nature and scale of this blatant aggression and in accordance with international law. We also affirm that the continuation of such escalating military actions will undermine security and stability in the region and drag it into situations that will have disastrous repercussions. We know that there were 10 missiles fired at the Al Udeid Air Base. And let's remind ourselves that is the biggest air base in the region. It is a base of US.
It's the biggest air base in the world.
Assets. It is actually hosted by QATAR. This is not a US base per se. It is a base hosted by.
It's 100% a US base.
QATAR. It has CENTCOM there as well, Central Command. So this is a very symbolic site. And the reason I say that is.
Nope, not just symbolic, very effective. This is a very effective site.
It's the following. Firstly, it was described to me by somebody briefed on the matter as symbolic.
All right, NASDAQ is playing. I have literally 7 minutes until this meeting, and I got to get off and get my prep done. But we're literally 1 or 2 candles away. If we ever have a meeting and I'm late, this is what I'm doing. I'm sitting here, just one more candle is all it's going to take. And I'm sitting here just basically like pushing it. Because all I need is 20 more points and I can close partial profits. This is like the make or break moment. This thing's either going to create this high or low and then just keep pumping to the upside, or we're going to get this rejection as we're seeing right now. Beautiful. And I want to wait until, okay, we just broke below the 50s. And so what I'm going to do is actually close 2 of the contracts I have open. Go ahead and close 1, close 2. And then let's hold these 2 contracts. Okay, what I'll do is actually move my stops lower. And then as soon as we break this low right here, I'm actually going to protect these trades so that I can, okay, there we go. We're getting that break. Should have waited a few more seconds to close partials. I'll actually protect one of the trades, leave the other one open with stops above. Actually, hold on. Let me wait for one more retest. Okay, my stops are above the highs. We have that first rejection. Let's see if we get another rejection to the downside. But if the market's going to come up and retest and then drop, I want to make sure I don't move my stop losses way too early. That way we don't just get kicked out and then the market runs in our direction. So I'm going to give this thing 5 more minutes, but I'm going to have to hop off here, people. Put something in the chats if you guys are in this trade as well, just so I can have a body count. Or let me do a head count. Body count does not sound good. It sounds like we're gonna lose. And I'm gonna check the damages. No. Let me get a head count if anyone's in this trade before I hop off. Body count was the worst fucking word to use. Bob Saget over here trying to tell us there's significant symbolic nature of the Qatari airbase. This is my life, people. I literally just have to see information and be like, that's fucking retarded. All day. This is what goes on in my brain. I have a tough life. A tough life, people. Not tougher than the people in the Middle East right now. But that's what I got to deal with. I got to deal with NASDAQ, playing games, and Bob Saget. All right, no more Bob Saget jokes. No.
To the
Stop laughing. Not good.
degree that this
Not funny.
base had been evacuated, the Iranians have said they fired exactly the same amount of missiles at it as were fired at its nuclear sites in Iran. So this was proportional.
All right, I really got to go. All right, everybody, happy and safe trading. Drop a like and subscribe on the way out. And yeah, let's get this money. I'll keep you guys posted. You guys know how like we do posts sometimes on YouTube? No, matter of fact, click the link in the description and join our public Discord chat. I'll put the updates there. Get in the public Discord. I'll put the updates on this trade there. Every time we do a live stream and there's a trade, I'll keep you guys posted. But for the members, we'll do a breakdown, like play by play of my actual entry and my exits, so that you guys will be updated. Okay. Catch you guys later. Happy and safe trading, people. Send this link to a friend, or you're a bum. All right, peace. All right, members. So typically this is not a good sign.